Now that's what we mean when we say put your hands up. This is your audition. The 8-team, first team, whatever you guys want to call it, is gone. And this is your chance. This is what we mean. Finish the game with 20 shots. Finish the game going all out. You know what I loved about this performance from Bafana Bafana? Many of the times when we play weaker players, weaker teams, we tend to play down to them and we tend to not put them under pressure. But Mofokeng showed in the first game that he can change a game and make them run a bit more, make them more courageous, make them push a little bit more. But more importantly, Nkotha. Oh, Nkotha, what a player. The way he has matured. Because the old Nkotha from the beginning of the season, doesn't make some of those really good choices. The Nkotha from the beginning of the season loses the ball a lot, takes ill-advised shots, but this guy was finishing off moves. And that is the one thing that I loved about today. It starts, it goes, it gets to a point, there's a shot. Save. It starts, it goes, there's something always happening. To the point where even Abo Nico Mobi were taking steps forward. Nico Mobi was looking for this one pass that he was trying to play in the corridor there between the goalkeeper and the defense. Even they started getting into this game. So I think well done, obviously, to the guys up front, Kwaiba for the goal that he got. You look at Nkotha and Mofokeng, but those unsung heroes, I think Mapangule and Leroux played a very good midfield game. They controlled that midfield for a bit. Now, second half, they started losing it a little bit when we started making the changes and our structure went away a bit. But literally, I think they held that game down. I want to send a specific shout out to the Mozambique goalkeeper. What a game. He is the reason why that scoreline is respectable. He is the reason. It wasn't his defense. Dove making 2 mistakes in order to allow Bafana Bafana to score the 2 goals. But literally for me, he was the difference. I even had people on my live telling me, you must go to Chiefs and all that. I don't know about that, but what an incredible game he played. Now, when we look at the game itself, it was very interesting. Mozambique came out in the beginning and they had a very conservative approach to the game. It was almost like a 5-3-2 or 5-4-1 at times. They were trying very hard to make sure that man for man, bar for bar, they're following those players. But the problem is that, again, you can play a low block and you can play a defensive game, right? But low blocks are about discipline and about structure. And very early on, you could see that the movement of Mofokeng and Nkotha, coupled with Mbutuma pulling the defenders, they were going to have a very tough time because they don't have discipline. If you look at the goals that were scored in the second half, they sort of changed their structure and went into like a back 2 with CDM in front of them and their left and right backs, their wing backs pushed all the way up. And that meant that in most cases it was going to be 3v3 or 4v3 if Bafana Bafana had caught them out. Right? If you had a central runner, because Dove has been pulled out, these two are so far away that you could just run in. And they had a couple of chances there, Bafana Bafana, to do exactly that didn't take. I guess that's the big criticism of the day, would have to be the finishing of Bafana Bafana. But if we look at Bafana Bafana itself, there was points where they lost defensive structure, they lost structure in general, and Mofokeng were now looking for goals. Which made them a little bit vulnerable. Like I said, Mobi was joining, Kabini was joining, which meant that they were left with 2. And I have to give special credit to Umbogazi, who made those late tackles to win the ball when Mozambique was pushing. Now, in the second half, when we started making the changes and bringing different changes to the structure, you started to see that you can't commit that many players forward, and Mozambique started realizing that, where they would sort of cheat. They would play a player up on the right-hand side, wait for Kabini to go, and then push another player into that space. Or they would run 3 players up centrally and then leave spaces out wide. And if you looked at where Mozambique had their best chances of where they looked the most dangerous, was when they got into those gaps and played balls in, which again brings up a little bit of alarm when you think about how our teams have struggled with high balls. You think about Sundowns, how they got beaten. You think about Pirates, how they got beaten. High balls are going to be the order of the day at the AFCON, and then also when we go into the World Cup when we qualify. So that's something to look at. But on the whole, I think it was a good performance, an okay performance. You have to win these games. I would have loved a better quality of opponent in order for us to test ourselves on, and maybe a little bit more uniformity when it comes to the players that are coming in, the so-called B players. So yeah, well done to Bafana Bafana. A win is a win is a win. We continue on our streak. I believe since Spain lost, we might be the top, if not top 3 in terms of unbeaten streaks, which is just testament to what Hugo Bruce is doing. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next one. Well done, Bafana Bafana. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. Huh? But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen, and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. You know, we're fighting for multi-choice. And for multi-choice, but there is subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video.